بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. Honorable ulama, huffaz, hujjaj, brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers, viewers and listeners, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. كيف حالكم؟ Alhamdulillah. My beloved brothers and sisters, this evening we look at a very interesting lesson, short lesson, but interesting and very, very important. In our previous sessions of fiqh, we looked at the arkan, the pillars, the integrals. This evening we're expanding on one of the integrals, and that is the niyyah. So before I go into tonight's session, of course, mashallah, we are practicing Islam, we are performing salah for some of us for months, some others for years, others for decades. So my question is, when you recite your niyyah currently, what are you saying? You don't need to respond, inshallah. But we've been taught typically an Arabic niyyah. MashaAllah, may Allah bless our asatida, our khalifas that taught those niyyat to us. But what are you actually saying? And if you are reciting that niyyah, what if you make a mistake in a particular word? Does it have an effect on the ibadah? So these are things to think about, because the niyyah is an integral, it's a rukun of the pillars of the salah. So tonight I'm going to simplify it, inshallah. The Shaykh beautifully writes around the degrees or the levels of a niyyah. If there's one point or one lesson that you take from tonight, inshallah, it is to understand what is needed in the recitation of your niyyah and where is the place of the niyyah. So the Shaykh writes, النية ثلاث درجات. إن كانت الصلاة فرضا وجب قصد الفعل والتعيين والفرضية، وإن كانت نافلة مؤقتة كراتبة أو ذات سبب وجب قصد الفعل والتعيين، وإن كانت نافلة مطلقة وجب قصد الفعل فقط. الفعل أصلي، والتعيين ظهرا أو عصرا، والفرضية فرضا. So the Shaykh writes that the niyyah has three levels. You need to know what must be in a particular niyyah. And so the Shaykh says, if the salah is fard, now listen to this, my dear brothers and sisters and our viewers and listeners. If your salah is fard, it is wajib, compulsory to have the following three elements in your niyyah. That you make the niyyah for the act of salah, that you mention the salah's name, you are clear on which salah it is you are performing, and the third element, that you are clear it is fard. Those are the three components. The Shaykh then continues and says, if the salah is a periodic nafil, like the rawatib. Now the rawatib are the sunnah salahs that occur periodically. In other words, before a fard or after. Or the salah has a particular purpose or reason. Then it is wajib for that niyyah to contain two elements. The act of salah and the name of the salah. Right? The act and the name. And then the third, if the salah is mutlaq, nafil. Now what is mutlaq nafil? It is a sunnah salah that is not specific to a time period, nor particularly a number of raka'at. Now I'm going to let you think about what salah that can be. I'll give you the answer in a minute, inshallah. With that salah, only the act is wajib. So you only need to know and intend that I'm going to perform salah. So let me use a common format of a niyyah. The fuqaha and our teachers in South Africa, they put the niyyahs together in different wordings. That's fine, no problem, inshallah. But it's important that the three elements are in there. So on this slide, I have color-coded the elements so that you are clear that you have included them in your niyyah. So the Shaykh said that there must be 3 elements. The act of salah, the name of that salah, and whether the salah is fard or sunnah. Particularly if it's fard, we need to mention that it is fard. That is a requirement. So for all your fard salawat, Fajr, Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, Isha, your niyyah must contain the word fard. It must be in there. So to take the typical niyyah, nawaitu usalli farda al-dhuhri lillahi ta'ala. This is a basic niyyah. But the 3 words that are important, the 3 components that are critical, the first, usalli, that you are intending to perform salah. Secondly, you need to know in the order here if it is a fard salah. And thirdly, the name of the salah. Now for those intending in English, because this is more important than the Arabic, because your English intention is what is normally in the heart. So your English intention, for those who maybe make a mistake, now maybe you performed the salah last week or last year or 10 years ago, and you couldn't recite the Arabic niyyah, but in your heart you knew these 3 elements were there, that you're going to perform salah, it's a fard salah, and it is my dhuhr salah I'm performing. Then your niyyah is intact, because the place of the niyyah is the heart. In the Shafi'i madhab, it is recommended to utter it, not to the extent that you disturb others, but that your lips move at least when you recite the niyyah. So those are the 3 components, the 3 levels of the niyyah. And we mentioned, let me test your knowledge quickly. So the Shaykh said that which salah requires all 3 elements? All, mashallah, class is excellent tonight. The fard salah requires all 3 elements. Which salah requires only 2 elements? The act of salah and the name of the salah. The sunnahs that occur before your fard or after your fard, if it applies, and also a sunnah that has a purpose, such as Eid Salah, Istisqa. Those are all sunnah salahs, but you need to follow this in the niyyah. And then the third category, the Shaykh says, for those that are sunnah, nafil, without a particular number of raka'at, nor a specific time when they should be performed. Can we think of which salah that might be? Tahajjud, excellent, yes. The salatul layl, or qiyam salah, because salatul layl and tahajjud falls into the category of qiyam. So salatul layl, which is performed from after Isha onwards, and tahajjud in the last third of the night, those only require the act of salah. You only have to say nawaitu usalli technically. If you simply say usalli, the niyyah is intact, that you are performing salah. So we close, inshallah, that the niyyah has 3 components. Your act of salah, performing salah, the salah's name, and whether it is fard or sunnah. So if you recite these 3 consistently, you are always covered. That is how our fuqaha have taught it previously. All the niyyahs that we learned over the years were always written out, and it contained multiple elements. But at the foundation, you just need to know and intend that it's salah, and the salah's name, and whether it is fard. So for any reverts that are listening or watching or in the masjid, know that of course maybe your tongue is getting used to the Arabic, so you intend in your heart, inshallah, that I'm about to perform the salah of dhuhr, and it is fard, and it will suffice, inshallah. Any questions? Excellent. And then of course an announcement that there won't be fiqh for the next 2 Mondays, inshallah, as I'm departing for Umrah. Please keep me in dua, inshallah. Jazakallah khairan. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala Muhammad rabbil alamin.